Welcome everyone. We are in week 8. I cannot believe it. We are halfway through this course already. We are just chugging along. Thank you for all your efforts in the course so far to date. Before we go into Module 8, I wanted to make sure that you were aware that if you were unable to attend last Saturday, October 9th Zoom meeting in regards to discussing Observation 2 in depth, it has been recorded and it will be embedded under Module 8 and it will state Zoom recording observation 2. So if you were unable to make it, I'm sad that you were because it is actually worth participation points, but also I answered any questions that you might have had at that time. But again, once you take the time to look over the Zoom recording, if you weren't if you were unable to attend, and if you still have any questions, you can feel free to email me and I can walk you through that. So jumping into Module 8. So this week we're going to read Chapter 8 in our textbook. And Chapter 8 describes time sampling and during free choice time. So we're going to learn a little bit more how to take a time sampling. Also, it explains the connection between the brain functions and approaches to learning, the role of play within learning. And you're going to talk a little bit about, or read a little bit about, I should say, cognitive development related to Piaget's theory. And then it also dives a little bit into Vygotsky's philosophy and the actual role of the teacher. How are we supposed to scaffold learning for each child? And then, of course, it's going to talk a little bit about the various cognitive abilities that is related to attention span. Okay, so in week 8, we're going to describe and evaluate characteristics, strengths, and limitations of the different applications to the observation and how we utilize those as assessment tools. In other words, this week we're talking about, again, the time sampling, and that is an assessment tool in observations that we're going to utilize within the second observation. And then you want to make sure to watch this video as you are now. You want to read Chapter 8 in our textbook. You want to review any videos and the PowerPoints that I have opened up for you. You want to complete the quiz. After doing all of that, you want to complete the quiz by Friday, October 15th, 11:59 p.m. It is worth 10 points. And like every week, you have 2 attempts and the computer will take the highest amount earned. The discussion board this week talks about attention span. Now, the original thread is due by the 13th of October, and the 2 peer posts are due by the 15th. Very important. I'm still getting some students not submitting 3 different days. The original is 1 day, 1 peer post is 1 day, and the next peer post is another. So all 3 of those need to be on different days. The first one has to be by Wednesday. You could do it much earlier. I would suggest to do that, in fact. And the 2 peer posts are due by Friday. Again, 2 are not due the same time as Friday. It's 2 separate days for full credit. And I'm going to jump into that really quick. Let me go attention span. Here is our discussion that is worth 10 points for this week. You're going to explain how the classroom setup influences children's attention span. Be sure to include these following centers that should be found within a preschool classroom: writing, science, housekeeping, dramatic play, listening, blocks, reading, music, and art. Now, what I want you to do is tell me why it's important to set up a classroom with children's attention span in mind. Include each of these centers that we just went over. Where should quieter areas be placed? Where should noisier areas be placed? Where does each center need to be placed and why? What is in each center to grab and hold each child's interest? So what is that grabbing hold that should be in the centers to grab the children's interest? And that is why we change these out so often, right? Because they get bored of the same things. That's why you should be changing them out quite often. So going back, that is our discussion board for the week. Now, our midterm is due the 16th. I know we're getting a little ahead, but I wanted to make sure you were aware. The midterm is due the 16th. It's worth 75 points. And within this module, you will see a study guide, and the study guide is taken from points exactly from that midterm. So use that study guide, write on it, and then you can actually use it within the midterm along with your textbook, okay? And that is due by the 16th, so you can jump ahead on that if you'd like. Then we have another peer review for this observation, which is observation 2. That's to the 13th of October. Again, it's worth 10 points. You're gonna print up the rubric, and you're going to either write on it or write on another piece of paper, but you're going to tell me what they're missing. You're going to tell the person, your peer, what they're missing, what points were great about the observation, and so forth, utilizing that rubric. Again, it's not up to you to score it. I just want you to help your peer with what's missing or what fantastic points that they brought up. And again, you're going to continue working on observation 2. Observation 2 is due October 22nd. And then lastly, I'm offering, I should say, extra credit. So I have an extra credit survey that I am offering 10 extra credit points to those of you who have submitted everything to date. In other words, if you're missing an assignment or missing a quiz or missing a peer review, you are unable to you're not eligible to receive this extra credit. But if everything's turned in, you can get these extra credit points. Other than that, have a fantastic week. I look forward to seeing you all soon, and stay safe.